versus TY semi-finals of this Kung Fu Cup. TY took down Dia, who took down Zest. TY also took down... TY's had a pretty decent run today, actually. Just to run through this, TY, right there on top right, took down Nice, Dia, and now he's here. And INnoVation, maybe an arguably decent run. He took down Super initially, lost a map there, then lost a map to Silky on the way, and then took down SOS in the quarterfinals to make it here as well. SOS who took down Kua, who took down Maru. This really has been the bracket of the gods up in the top side of the bracket. INnoVation now blue Terran bottom left-hand side. Going into this best of 3 now to see how this is going to go. So away we go into this. Very, very interested to see what is going to happen. So we kick this off, we get this started. Look to see again how things will play out. Already you can see double gas from both sides. So neither of these players are going to go for the initial opening, which will be a faster expansion or anything. It is just going to be double gas. Obviously, probably pull out a gas once you get that factory down and go into towards the faster CC. That's a very popular way to play. But again, no one on the single gas expand. Both may be a little bit too afraid of the aggression that might come their way if they do. Maybe just a case of neither of them really fancying it on this map. It's, you know, again, you can generally defend with the one gas expand. There's a couple of builds where you continue with 3 workers and gas, and TY not pulling out yet. INnoVation does, so we might get an example of that right here, where TY will not expand and instead go straight up to his starport. And that's the sort of aggression that could do very well when it comes to trying to pick away at your opponent's opening if they go 1 gas especially, because then their factory is late. In this scenario when it isn't 1 gas, INnoVation gets a slight build order advantage basically. Still possible for TY to deal damage, but INnoVation has the tools to defend with ease, more or less. So let's see how that goes. They did open differently because TY goes Reactor and then double Reapers. He's going to do this Reaper Hellion build. He's going to go with about 4 to 6 Reapers and a few Hellions, as many as he can get, and a Medevac. And if you don't know this is coming as INnoVation, actually it's very deadly because you're just outmatched in units at a time where you're setting up add-ons and you're not really building anything immediately. So this can get really tough. You have to be very careful. You have to try and keep your units in the right spot. And if you get overwhelmed in the Reaper Hellion fight, your Cyclone that then comes out next gets taken down very quickly as well. And obviously there's no hiding because the Medevac can drop the Hellions in the main. So let's see what INnoVation can try and do to defend. Again, a lot of this usually comes down to scouting it and figuring it out early, rather than trying to figure out on the fly what's going on. INnoVation is completely blind though, so he has no idea currently of what is going on. The Cyclone on the way up, and he very now loses his Hellion. He needs to keep that alive. He can't let this go down. He needs to keep this up and running. As you're going to see the starport in the main base, that's about to complete. Again, those couple of Reapers on the ramp, those are hanging out, and again, more Reapers and Hellions coming across. So here we go. It's what, 4 Reapers, 3 Hellions at the moment, but 2 more on the way, so I was a bit wrong with my numbers, to be exact. You just want to go when the Medevac's here, though, right? Like, you don't want to wait around or mess around at all. INnoVation is set up pretty nicely on this low ground. Needs to stop any sort of, Hellion lineup getting, bonus damage done. Cyclone will lock on. Reaper damage initially is okay. You can see TY is not actually too happy with this. So INnoVation's setup is all right here to defend this, I think. A good spread of units. He didn't get overwhelmed. He wasn't split up. And I think that's the very important part. Making sure all your units are going to fight together at the same time. It's still kind of close, but now the Viking's here to push back the Medevac. And if you need to land the Viking, you can land that too to help out. And as 2 more Reapers show up again, it still will be close. He's going to commit to getting the Medevac kill because that's just worthwhile. He's got a Cyclone here to try and help. Good dodge of the Reaper grenades. If you get hit by the Reaper grenade, you lose damage time, and that is much nicer to just dodge out the way instead. Great defense by INnoVation. Really solid hold. Now you can see his advantage is already in play. His CC is finished, morphed into an orbital, and TY's still building over here. So that's INnoVation's advantage now. He gets away with a faster command center on the natural. Alright, well, as you see this game continuing, we have a Raven on the way out from INnoVation, and he's definitely in a good spot. He's going to come around the top with the Viking, maybe try and land for an SCV kill or 2. We'll see what he does. The thing is, unlike in PvT, where kind of, giving up the Vikings okay, because, if you want to go Vikings, it's usually a bit later, and it does 2-shot probes, so it's pretty good. it doesn't two-shot workers in TvT. And Viking count, every single Viking really matters for that TvT Viking count advantage, so you don't really want to go giving this Viking up if you don't have to. An INnoVation board. He's just seeing if there's anything flying around the top side he might be able to pick off for free. You know, maybe there's a Liberator that just popped out or so. Nothing like that at all, so Viking will just come home, and both players start to go into their stim pack here. INnoVation is a bit behind when it comes to barracks production, so his barracks is a bit later, etc. It's because he has a third CC about to finish. So INnoVation's about to be on 3 command centers, and the only deficit he has is what? A stim pack that's about 25 seconds behind, and 2 barracks that are about maybe the a similar sort of length behind as well, 20-ish seconds. So he's going to be like, again, a few Marines, a slightly later stim pack, but for what he's getting, it's so worth it because he's going to be on so many more SCVs. He already is on so many more SCVs, and he's going to continue to keep a massive lead in the economy. And for INnoVation, that should mean a very good future for him here in this game number 1. So you will see the Reaper trying to make it by. It does get picked off. And the Marine of TY just continuing out into the middle of the map. 2 more medevacs on the way. A few more Marines in production. And there's the 1-1 upgrades on the engineering base. So INnoVation able to start +1 attack, +1 armor. Getting those going on the engineering base here, as we do have the Marines and the tanks. The Raven as well coming down to the bottom left-hand side. Third CC of INnoVation lifts up, moves over to that third. He does take this kind of pocket, kind of triangular base setup, rather than the third base down the side like TY will. If you mine out these minerals, that's not so bad. It's very difficult to set up a siege tank position to push into there. INnoVation is going to pull back for a moment. Not sure what he's seen. You can see TY, his initial instinct is to come and check this third base, because again, that's the typical one you take. Minero's not going to take this one yet. He doesn't want to go there until he's got the minerals mined out so he can get access to defend it. I think that's why he's just waiting a moment or two. He doesn't want it to land it and then be super unprotected if Marines stim into it. So, very responsible decision making there by Inno. As the Ravens against each other here, well, TY pushes all the way in. It will stim. He already has medevacs, so that's not too much of an issue. You see this orbital, it'll take damage, but the difference is now the Marines and tanks are already here, so it can just pull back and it's going to be kept safe. So TY doing a good job of keeping INnoVation's third base busy. This is all time in which he's not able to mine off of it, he's not able to build workers off of it. And obviously, if you're oversaturated over here, you would have more income if you were to start mining off of that sometime soon. Inno just has that 1 Viking, and that 1 Viking has been such an annoyance at the moment. Just sitting out here, it's about to change, those 2 Vikings showing up, and then INnoVation has 2 more about to pop. So, just needs a moment or 2 here as he'll lose his first Viking. Just got caught a little bit off guard there, wasn't able to pull it back in time. So a little bit of setup here. As you do see the army going to go to the left-hand side. So TY going to try and jump in on this. It's going to be an anti-armor missile on INnoVation's Marines. INnoVation will break out and take down a tank as he goes. And TY is going to get pushed back. INnoVation has a 1-1 upgrade lead right now as well over just +1. When double engineering bay, it's another of his advantages. And going into the armory now, he's going to have a huge 2-2 timing advantage as well. So INnoVation finally deflects TY. It has been a bit of an annoyance. It's definitely taken a bit of effort here, but he will push him back. And the advantages are still there, right? Yes, he's maybe mining a little bit later on the third CC, but the 2-2 timing is massive. The army supply difference is massive. And the Viking count, air control, etc. all even. He's up 20 Marines, up 2 tanks. He's just in such a great spot, I know. Issues with TvT, it can be very hard to end these games. It can be very hard to get the killing blow off. As you do see those Marines coming out over to the side. A couple tanks going to start sieging. Marines already stepping forwards a little bit. Viking fight breaking out. Now, INnoVation actually didn't use his Raven energy yet, so he still has the Raven energy to bring into play. TY has used his, so he's only got 100 energy left on it, so it's about a 1 spell disadvantage on the Raven 2. As tanks will be stimmed at as they are the siege. You will get 1, obviously that low HP one is very easy to right click on and target down. So TY grabs that. Armory finishing shortly, ready to go into 2-2 upgrades, but again, it's going to be a big timing window that INnoVation will have. Again, difficult to always utilize the upgrade timing window in TvT because of siege tanks, etc. But that opportunity still is there, so let's see what INnoVation does. Currently just sat out on the map. If TY could break out with a drop, like even just 1 medevac of units, just to stop INnoVation rallying across, that could do so much here to bring TY back into this game, just that little bit. we go. Mix him in. INnoVation's just going to go for it. It's the first 2 tanks. I mean, TY opts for the anti-armor missile instead. Now, the thing is, he's taking out the tanks in range of the 3rd base. So you can just target this down, and 3rd CC will drop. Not enough repairing there. Marine Can from TY is not good enough. And INnoVation led this game from the early stages, played it out beautifully. TY put on some good pressure, trying to get back into it. But INnoVation, good defense, means he's able to clean up and take game 1. Take it away. Top right-hand side, down a game, is our red Terran, TY. Very excited to see what team he ends up joining. Again, he was really rumored for TSG, but I don't understand why TSG would still not announce him, unless they really just don't have him, like, contracted until the start of, like, January, maybe? That's the only theory I really have, unless it's really not going to be him joining TSG. But then who did TSG pick up to compete in the league? Tough to say. Bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player is INnoVation. Game 2 of this best of 3. First stream of the week. That's not going to be a double-header stream, by the way. It's just this tournament, and then we're going to be done for the day. Tomorrow, I will be back once again with the WardiTV Christmas Invitational Playoffs. That's going to feature Solar, Zest, Cure, Creator, a few other players as well. It's going to be a fun little day of StarCraft 2. Showtime's in there. So yeah, that's coming up tomorrow from midday CET. We start at the same time as today. So see you guys tomorrow for that. Obviously, we're not done here yet today, though. Semi-finals are still underway. And obviously a grand final to come afterwards as well. So getting ourselves going. We do have the SCV going to come up in the corner. And again, factory on the way up on either side. So again, the factory ready to roll. Factory coming up, so both of these players will be onto that factory early. And this time TY does pull out of gas looking to expand. INnoVation pulls out of gas looking to expand. So they're both going to go for the expansion this time. TY, I mean, that Reaper Hellion build is really deadly, but people have really figured out that it's an option in TvT. And so nowadays, I think a lot of the time, you're kind of waiting around as INnoVation. Maybe you've got like a unit in the main base, or you've got a Reaper Hellion on the map. If you get caught with half of your army, you're in trouble. But because INnoVation stood there in a perfect line, takes no splash damage from Hellions, really is just the perfect defense. The micro is very good as well, and you know, it had to be because you saw TY was still very nearly so close to breaking through. So it was a good defense at the start of the game, and that is what put INnoVation ahead. And he just kept himself ahead from that point onwards. Bit tired of this red versus blue scheme. Why don't we have random colors? So we don't have random colors or different colors in this tournament because the Chinese organizers forced blue versus red with certain players to help with their production setup in their studio. This is a lot of damage here. 2 Reapers and a Hellion in the main base. Obviously these will go down. There is units across the map as well. INnoVation is just trying to get a Cyclone out to help with this. So INnoVation gets the early damage done, he gets more of it done, but now TY will take the worker kill advantage 8. 9. Well, actually, INnoVation's not done either. Another SCV going down somewhere along the way. So that is going to be one final one from TY, and INnoVation goes down. Oh my god, the grenade kills one more, as if. 13 workers killed by TY, 9 killed by INnoVation. INnoVation drops his 3 workers behind here, but big difference. CC on the low ground is denied and delayed for TY. INnoVation's already finished morphing into an orbital, so INnoVation will play catch-up and probably will even out the worker count or thereabouts. So a bit of a different back and forth there. Bit of a weird scenario. You don't see that one every day of the week. Aliens pulling back out into the center again. Medevac on the way up on the starport. As you see these 2 Reapers coming into the main. It's going to be 2 more kills, maybe even 1 more as well, so that's 3. Okay, well that's the damage TY needed to make up for the slightly delayed CC. INnoVation, though, he had the fastest Cyclone, now will have the army advantage to go across the map with. Tank and 4 Marines. The Cyclone will run across with this as well. So he's going to go for this across to the upper right-hand side. So away he goes. Medevac leading the charge at the moment. Moving in towards the natural where Bunker's going to start building. Well, that's not going to be in time. I mean, look how far away we are from a siege tank of TY. So TY doesn't have anything to defend just yet. I mean, the Hellions don't help at all. So these low ground SCVs should be in a lot of trouble. Now, this tank's going to cover this ramp as well. So that's going to be a problem. I mean, straight up, matter of fact, this Orbital Command has to lift off and get out of there. So INnoVation's going to deny this natural again. He isn't building SCVs, INnoVation. He's all in on 17 SCVs. Well, now the tank comes up on the high ground. Order turret from behind with the Raven. SCVs pull in to help out against this. He's very narrowly INnoVation. He is going to get the siege tank of his opponent. He is going to lose his own siege tank, though. Now Marines coming into play. It's up to the Medevac to heal enough to make the difference, but I don't think it's going to be enough from Inno. Not just yet, but now he's got another tank showing up, and he's got a Viking. So this Banshee isn't necessarily going to make a difference. The Raven will get shot at as well. Viking's even going to land. Viking's going to want to lift up here, because this siege tank's going to be the main target of that Banshee if you're not careful. Viking needs to get up. Okay, Viking goes down, so now the Banshee's actually going to be a really tough one to deal with. The Marine's getting shut down. I think TY has maybe just made the hold as the Medevac will lift and boost away that siege tank. INnoVation gets away. He did start up SCV production behind this now, so now up to 23 workers after killing some. He's actually up to, he's up to a 23 to 22 worker count. He's still ahead in army supplies. INnoVation keeps pushing across the map. He's keeping this aggressive. Viking now, though, from TY gets the first shot off as well. INnoVation just tries to dive for the Banshee. That won't work. It gets repaired as well, and INnoVation will lose his Viking. Wow. Pretty crazy stuff as this Banshee comes in. Another Marine getting picked off, and this tank of INnoVation has to go running away through the center. Tank will go down. And now INnoVation's lost a lot of the army because he kept rallying over. I feel like he did enough to put himself in a good position, but now obviously he lost a lot, and just the little things, right? If he knew about the Banshee a bit sooner, or that Viking lifts a bit more quickly, the Viking maybe could have got more hits on the first Banshee right away. It was really close, though. Like, it's a really close fight. Obviously, they initially used the order turret from the left side as well to kill off the siege tank. For, you know, TY killing that siege tank. That was huge, because if you don't kill that first tank, and you lose your own tank, the game probably ends there as well. The fact we come out of that into a fairly even game is really impressive, because there's so many little things that have to go certain ways for neither player to take a big advantage from it. Well, third CC does start from TY, and that is ahead of INnoVation by about half a minute or so. As we do have the rest of the army from TY coming across now. I know his army is good as well. There shouldn't be an immediate advantage for either play here. The only thing I can maybe think of is maybe that Banshee's annoying, but 3 Vikings against 2. And that's going to be air control. INnoVation doesn't quite get the Viking kill right there, so that's going to try and hide in the corner. This is a really weird position, right? This is a really, really weird position. Let's see, another tank siege, and the Viking over here will get picked off, so Viking will fall. Impact coming in on either side, going to be seeing the Banshee coming in to attack, so INnoVation is not really prepared for this, has to send his Vikings back a little bit. He's going to continue across the map with the rest of his army. This Banshee will go down, but hey, 6 SCVs. And now another, okay, that's not a Banshee, that's a Viking. A Viking around the top. TY doesn't expect INnoVation to be moving across the map like this, though. He sees it now. Okay, that's good, because it's just in time for him to get back in position to defend his natural. Just in time. This time, I mean, the Viking here from TY is just going to commit in. He's done building Vikings. He knows he's lost the air control. So he's going to give this one up, get a couple more SCVs, and he's going to build 2 Medevacs. SCVs are the only thing being pulled to help that, and there's no units here for a while from INnoVation, so that Viking is causing chaos. He's losing more workers again. As INnoVation presses forwards, he assesses the situation with the Vikings. Down 7 workers, that Viking finally went down. Marine showing up to help along with the SCVs. How do you break this here? The starboard lifts up and will take a few shots. Barracks just repositioning. The question is, how do you get in position here without getting too close and your opponent deal too much? Well, INnoVation might just sit here a little bit, but TY looks like he might try break out of this from different angles. It's mostly tanks, right? So you're mostly looking at the splash damages INnoVation. As your kind of advantage, he's going to move forwards a little bit closer. He will kill a tank here. Nice scan, but there's 3 tanks in range. Ooh, actually, 1 tank shot goes onto the CC. Was that one in range? It might not have been, actually. INnoVation's going to unseat a couple of tanks again. He's trying to go for different directions all the time. The thing is, TY can't always just scan. He will scan this time, though. He's going to get 1 tank for a tank. So it's tank to tank. The thing is, INnoVation now still in range. Now there's no scan. Now INnoVation will get the kill. Oh, TY sent it from the green forwards, though, and it wasn't targeted, so he still gets 1 more shot. TY is systematically working his way through this tank despite the push forwards from Inno. I think he should just be able to break this in a moment. I mean, here you go. You see it from the left. Going to sim on in, but is it going to be too expensive? How much does he lose? INnoVation tries to get the Vikings to the medevacts, but the Marines from the right will stop that. So TY will even up the army supply with this play. Vikings at the top, Marine tank down the right. We're going to see the rest of this army from INnoVation up the left-hand side, and an SCV of TY will be scouting this again. So there's little SCVs of TY giving them an info. INnoVation's going to see this army coming over. TY doesn't have combat shields yet, but this isn't going to be a straight-up fight, right? This is going to be a third base denial play. INnoVation hasn't even moved out to a third location. He knows it's not looking good for him. Defensively, INnoVation, well, he's rallied in the main. He's about to have a tank. Well, he's just going to go forwards and break TY here, so he needs to do that. Maybe just lift up and go in the main base, because his natural is going to be in some trouble. So now INnoVation has to make a play. The main base would be the best play, right? You get in the main, you can deal a lot of damage there, because you're taking a lot of damage yourself. If you can shut down the production, that's huge. INnoVation loses his tank on the ramp. He doesn't have a lot to play defense with. There's the play into the main base, but TY recognizes that it's coming, so he moves his own Marines in the main defensively. And so INnoVation has to pull back away. It was the right call by INnoVation, but it was the perfect defense from TY to shut that down. Unfortunately, the Vikings are getting a few of those medevacs. This orbital is still burning, by the way. It has to move out of position. Across the map, INnoVation is now only mining off of 1 base. The next medevac goes down. High ground siege tank here could maybe work your way through this. How many scans does TY really have, right? He's been scanning so much. I guess because he doesn't have the third base to drop mules on, so he may as well save those scans. Finally, the third will be repaired. INnoVation will pull back home. He makes a break to play to break out here. He loses more SCVs. He's down by 6. He will break out, and INnoVation will have his natural back and the third moving into location. But TY should have the exact same position. Up 6 workers, but down in army supply. Neither player with the money or the economy to go into an armory, so 2-2 is off the table. Not even an armory started on either side. They are not thinking about the upgrades at the moment. Not in any way, shape, or form. As INnoVation pressing forwards here. You see medevac taking some damage. Now the Marines coming forwards from TY. INnoVation will siege up those tanks. And the Liberators will siege, and again the tank going to get lifted up, pulled back just a little bit. Scan, and Liberator's still trying to see what they can do. He's going to stim in, so the third base of INnoVation not allowed to land just yet. But now INnoVation is picking up supply depots of TY across the map. Problem is he's not breaking in, and the third base is mining of TY. So I know how to do something about that. Well, at least get his own third base up and running soon. It's the Viking control, though. Look at this. He's able to push siege tank lines back, so he's able to break his way through this. And that's INnoVation's massive advantage. Those Liberators will do so much for him. He breaks down these rocks to make life a bit easier for him. As you see, I mean, INnoVation is just going to reinforce across the map. His CC will start to repair in the main, so we'll get that third back online. Army supplies are closing, though. His INnoVation, his main is actually a lot healthier than TY's because he wasn't mining as much earlier on. INnoVation has to be careful where he's moving forwards here. He's actually kind of losing the air control, so these Liberators are going to get picked away, but he will just make a play. He's going to go and get rid of the tank on the natural. Unison now is going to start reinforcing from the main base, though. Another Liberator just comes in, just sieges up despite the Vikings. We'll get 1 shot off on an SCV repairing. INnoVation is going to unsiege and go to the left-hand side. So he's not going to commit in there anymore. Now he's got Marines to deal with in the main, though, so TY is backstabbing, and INnoVation is losing workers like crazy. So INnoVation down to 20 SCVs. He had 14.5 minutes, but now TY's third base is under fire, and those SCVs might have to get out of there, and they don't really have anywhere to go mine. So, oh no, INnoVation takes a huge tank shot. Oh, TY's going to clean this up. INnoVation's going to lose the army. What a play by TY in the end. Persistence. I mean, what a game. Really good games. Both these players didn't play last week in the Kung Fu Cup. Will be really interesting to see who will go through to the finals, hunting down their first potential 2019 win. We talk about these guys in the Kung Fu Cups of the past. INnoVation was, in terms of the weekly events at least, TY actually, is that true? TY never made it into a top 4? No, I was reading it wrong. So TY did make it into top 4 3 times. He's won one of these weekly Kung Fu Cup events. And he does spawn TY in the top left-hand side, our blue Terran player. INnoVation was the absolute god of these events. He won Kung Fu Cup in 2018 at number 3, number 6, number 11, number 16, and number 18. So INnoVation really won a lot. And on top of that, he had 4 other top 4 finishes. U2 says TY is just... oh, I don't know what he's actually said in Korean. INnoVation is the player who has won the most of these weekly events in all of Kung Fu Cup history. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Kung Fu Cup used to be like a much larger tournament as well. I feel like TY won one of those one time, but he got 2nd place against Stats in 2016. I feel like he's definitely won one. He's definitely played in them and done well before. Maybe, yeah, it seems like I'm incorrect. Alright, well, still. INnoVation, definitely the one with all the titles, apparently. As we have this game 3 setting up. So sorry, me just getting distracted over there. Kung Fu Cup is amazing, says Medicinal PCP in the chat. Yeah, it really is, right? And it happens every Thursday. I'm not sure if it'll happen next week because it's the day after Christmas Day. I'll double check. But I'll try and let you guys know. I'll ask the admin after today. Maybe after this series even, so that can let you guys know in the finals if there's going to be one next week or not. If there is one on the 26th, we will cast it. Command center dropping down in the natural. Reaper here from INnoVation. Continue to move up the left-hand side. INnoVation is going to lose his Reaper. What a loss that's going to be. Now he is making another Reaper, so it's not the end of the world, as he did open with the 2 racks. So he's gone for a 2 racks Reaper opening defensively, but losing 1 Reaper is obviously not great, because the 2 racks Reaper here is meant to get you 3 Reapers up and then Marine production. So you're meant to have a Reaper advantage coming across. And imagine if INnoVation has 3 Reapers right now. TY has basically nothing, so you're probably going to get some damage done. And those couple of Reapers continue forwards. They can hop up into the main. CV will take some hits, will go down. Marine taking some damage as well. Barracks building a tech lab. There's the Reaper grenade. SCV is taking some shots. Imagine this was a 3rd Reaper, right? That's 2 dead SCVs pretty much that would have been down that aren't down now. Now the Hellions out, those Reapers have to get out of there. Just a little bit of a shame for INnoVation's opening to go that way after what was happening before. Starport coming up from INnoVation in that main base, so getting that rolling here. I'm going to get a few Marines at the front, a couple of Reapers coming around as well. 2 Hellions and this Reaper coming down the left side. So again, these couple of Hellions and the Reaper out through the middle of the map. Marines and the 2 Reapers in the natural. Game just continuing over. We do see Cloak on the way up. So Cloak getting started. Banshee coming down. Siege Tank in production as well. Cyclone's going to be able to come in and grab a Hellion. So Hellion will go down there. Moving around a little bit. We do have the Raven on the way up from INnoVation in the main base. Again, that start Raven on the way out. Stimpack will start up from INnoVation too. A few extra Marines coming in. Tank on the way. I mean, TY gets map control with these Hellions. So you do have the couple of Reapers jumping into the main base. They're going to be able to pick off an SCV here. And they're going to get the scout of the Banshee popping out. Obviously, the Banshee will clean up these Reapers, but even just figuring out there's a Banshee out, right? It's that little bit of information. Okay, you got a Banshee. He gets 3 workers as well. That's not bad. TY, though, pushing forwards with the army. INnoVation has to get down into position. Tank isn't sieged yet. These couple of units will get some shots on it. This tank will get in range of the natural. It's going to put a bit of a timer on INnoVation, who does have a Raven at least to help out. First Banshee's already over here, so INnoVation will have to deflect that. Just chasing that around, chasing that away. Tank firing away on the orbital, and 3rd CC of TY building behind this, and that's what's the craziest part of this. TY's getting a 3rd base up while going for this. INnoVation already has stim though, so that fast stim build gonna allow him to come forwards here, pulls the SCVs, don't even know if he needs the SCVs really. Takes this down, only loses a couple, and INnoVation will get back to mining now. Cyclone lock on is going to push the Banshee out back into the center of the map as well. And a couple extra racks, a couple extra engineering bays coming through. Raven's still in production from TY, still getting one of those up. But again, look at that 3rd CC lead, so TY should be able to open up a bit of an economy difference going into this 3rd map now. Banshee pulls back over to the left, the Marines underneath. Combat shields +1 attack from INnoVation. So there's advantages on either side, right? You know, TY with the 3rd CC, INnoVation with the upgrades and the fact he's got Stim and Bio already. And 2 engineering bays on the back of the natural from TY getting set up. The Raven and the Cyclone. Again on the right, trying to see what else is going on. Just watching in case they can find a Banshee that's like lurking, ready to come back in. It's definitely not a bad idea to be moving around like this, so. And, you know, especially now at home, you've got like a defense which can defend a Banshee if it does come from a different direction too, so. She finds a Hellion up on the top side. So I'll get picked off, Stimpack starting, extra Marines coming through, and just gonna see INnoVation gonna boost out through into the center of the map. Fight over here, but it's TY that's not seeing this drop come into the main base. He's very blind to it. And INnoVation's going to get out and he's going to get unloaded. There's 1 tank in the main. I don't know if he's going to matrix that tank. Okay, now extra tanks coming in. He's just going to auto turret to try and deflect here. Now we see auto turrets from TY as well. SCVs immediately pulled in. So INnoVation's going to kill a lot of SCVs, but how much does he lose in terms of army? He's trading pretty well in the army as well. The +1 attack makes a difference. Obviously having Sim on the Marines helps out too. He even has 2 tanks remaining as the Vikings have to land. Wow, INnoVation. This went very well for him. Not only does he get the 17 SCVs, but again, the important part was he trades well with the army. So, being able to trade well with the army is the important part because now he can't counterattack as TY. And if you get a bad army trade there as INnoVation, TY's counter could just straight up deny a 3rd base, right? And then kill SCVs, and then, you know, you kind of even it out. But it takes away the, you know, the potential for TY to even this out, for him to find a way to make this work. So, great stuff from INnoVation. And for the most part as well, INnoVation absolutely wants to force a fight, right? He had bio upgrades ready. So INnoVation forcing a fight, the only way you're going to do that is by, you know, making a drop happen. Because if you push the front, the tanks are going to be pre-sieged. So making the drop happen gave him that opportunity to take advantage of his upgrades, and that's why INnoVation will lead this game now. Now, the workers do even out, but look at the army difference. 20 worker difference there. INnoVation a bit behind on the armor upgrades. That's a slight disadvantage, but at least the attack upgrade is running at a similar pacing. And INnoVation will start 4th CC that much faster than TY as well. Factory. Dropping down here from INnoVation, getting that ready to go. This army of Inno continues out over to the left-hand side. You see these Marines pushing through, the Marines on the left. Well, they're going to get pushed away. This 4th base has to cancel. TY doesn't have the map control to go building bases in position. That is one of his issues right now here, basically. It's actually a really big issue for him. These Marines still pressing up. Obviously, INnoVation with tanks here now as well. That army advantage is really showing. TvT going to build a couple Liberators. He does have the air control. INnoVation, that's something he's starting to contest with now with his first Vikings of the game being made. So getting those rolling, as we do see again, TvT up on the top side, a few Marines moving around. A couple extra Marines from INnoVation out in the center, has some good coverage of Marines, you know, through the center, around the top. Good vision around the map in general, right? Really sees a lot of this map at the moment, so... This army, Marines and tanks, going up into the center here. +2 attack, about to finish on the engineering bay, and the +2 armor. Going to be coming up as well. A couple of Vikings will just make their way over to the third base here. So just moving around, a little bit of movement. INnoVation still on the map. I like this. A couple different armies as well, just sitting around looking for opportunities. Gonna see this army from TvT moving up top. It's actually going to keep going forwards. There's another scan there. That's TvT finding what's going on. Now INnoVation scans. Sorry, it's TvT again. So TvT just double scanning, trying to track what the army is there and what isn't. TvT's fourth base now moving into position. INnoVation might have to come in and sandwich this army. That or he counterattacks. But either way, his base is going to be in trouble if he doesn't make a play. Tank sieging up, INnoVation can get to the high ground. His third base is in a lot of trouble. So he decided not to counter. That's going to cost him the third base. How well can he clean this up? Here we go. I don't actually like it for INnoVation because eventually it's just going to turn out that he's kind of just coming in from one direction, stimming into a siege position. INnoVation's not taking a good fight at all. The Vikings from the top, and INnoVation loses a lot here. On top of the CC and on top of the SCVs. This was a misplay by INnoVation. He had to make a decision there. What could he have done? The army was all the way over here. He could have absolutely gone up into this space. He could have denied the fourth at the very least. He decides to pull back. Again, that's really, really costly, as we do see TvT back around into the center of the map as well. All the way around through the middle. Hey, what's up, Ryanini? Thank you so much. $50 donation. Get some love in the chat. Very generous. Thank you so much for the $50. Yeah, some love for that, please. We'll mention that again after this series, because right now we are looking pretty tight as we do see Marines and tanks continue to move around. TvT going to go jumping up into the main base. Other Marines coming through. Vikings going to be able to pick off the medevac. Again, TvT's army. Continue to move around a little bit here. Tanks sieging up. INnoVation will siege as well. TvT able to pick up a kill there. Sensor tower taking a few shots too. INnoVation really trailing in supply now though. And TvT, suddenly the map is all his. Not just a fourth base, but a fifth base too. The main base moving out to give you a new base to mine from. He's got tank siege up on INnoVation's bottom side base, and he's got the army pressuring elsewhere as well. INnoVation is on the defensive and isn't finding a way out. Couple of Vikings down to the bottom, and we do see, well, tank siege in the center is also. A lot of Vikings here from Inno. He's definitely got air control, but what's that really doing for him right here? He's going to take a fight. He has got a faster +3 attack, no 3-3 yet from TvT, but he's having to fight into siege tanks. He will clean up pretty much everything. Initially, it was looking good in the skies as well, but then the Marines are still left over. Okay, I kind of thought INnoVation had a bit more going for him in this. The tanks on the high ground are definitely doing okay, but now INnoVation actually loses his Vikings. So TvT's going to have air control too, and he's going to get these tanks. That's going to be GG. TvT with an excellent turnaround in this game. TvT takes it 2-1 in the best of 3.